Hey guys, Lady Raven here, and today I want to talk to you guys about something that has been ongoing since my teenager years, and it all centers around this apartment that I used to live in when I was a kid. And I can't quite say that it's paranormal, but it's literally like the same entity in the same apartment every single time I have this dream. And it feels so real. Like, I will literally wake up in tears sometimes because like that's just how real that it feels, and it's terrifying when it happens. And it doesn't happen all the time. It's like periodically. I don't know, like it doesn't follow like a specific amount of time in between each time I have the dream, but it does freak me out every single time. And it's always that apartment and always the same entity, and then sometimes it's not the entity, but it's kind of like another situation, and it still centers on that same apartment. So I guess I'll start off by talking about the apartment itself. So I moved in with my older sister and my mother when I was about 5 years old, and we lived there until about a week or two before my 14th birthday. So we lived there for nearly 10 years, a long time. And when we did live there, it was like a janky apartment. Roof would leak all the time. The ceiling was like a drop-down ceiling, so there was like those panels that you could push up and look into the ceiling, but they're so flimsy, and then once they would get wet from the roof leaking, they'd fall through. So a lot of times we would just have water falling through our apartment. We would have these panels falling through, so that was creepy in itself. You know, you're just sitting there minding your own business, all of a sudden you hear bang, and you run in there and there's a freaking hole in your ceiling. So that was always nice. And the landlord was so stupid. Like, he would come to fix everything, but he never really fixed it. He did not know what he was doing. He should have never been the landlord in the first place. He sucked. So anyways, the scariest thing, though, that I ever experienced in there was just having a raccoon in our ceiling. It was just a really janky place to live. So I was very happy when we moved. But like I said, I never had any bad feelings. I never saw anything. I never heard anything creepy. At least not that I can remember. And so this all started once I moved out and we moved into another apartment. Same city, but way far away. And I guess the first time that I had a dream, it was probably when I was like 15 or 16. I don't remember the exact age that I was. So I guess before I get into the dream, I should kind of tell you the layout of my bedroom at the time, at the new place, not the old place. So I kind of drew a diagram. I hope you guys can see it. So my room wasn't obviously this big, but this is how it was. Like, this is obviously the entrance. My bed was in the corner. My nightstand, that's where my window was, the closet, and then my dresser and my TV were at that far wall. So in my dream, I was laying in my bed, and I can show you kind of the layout. I drew another diagram, I hope you guys can see it. So this is like the view from my dream. This is the bed. I was laying in the bed here, and I could see the door open here, and I could see through the door and see into another room. This is where the entity was. And that's the closet and the dresser and stuff like that. So you can kind of see like how I saw it in my dream. So when I looked through where the door is open at, I could see my old apartment. Like, I saw the old kitchen. I could see the bedroom door to my mom's room, which doesn't make any sense because even in my old place, that's kind of the same layout. Like, it was like mine and my sister's room, and then the next door down that same wall was my mom's room. But you still couldn't, like, look out the door and see my mom's door because of the way that the layout was. Like, there was just no way. But for some reason in my dream, I was in my new apartment, in my new bedroom, and I could see out into the old apartment we were in, and I could see the kitchen, and I could see my mom's old bedroom door. And then, like I said, like I showed you in my diagram, the entity was all black. I didn't color him in, obviously. And it was kind of like a smoky black. Like, I don't know, like, it looked like he was made of smoke. I don't even know why I'm calling it a he, but I'm just calling it a he just for the video. And there was no, like, defining features. Like, you couldn't see arms, you couldn't see hands, a face, a nose, eyes, nothing. It was just a black, smoky figure that was, like, literally coming through the door. And I remember looking through the door and I saw my old apartment. And I don't know, my dream, like, it felt like whatever this thing was coming from my old apartment, and it was trying to get into my new apartment. As I stared at it, I couldn't move. Like, I was frozen. I was, like, frozen in fear. And then it just jumped on me. Everything went black, and I remember feeling like this static, almost electrical feeling, and I felt like I was like seizing almost. And I remember waking up and I was in tears. I was so scared. I turned on my bedroom light, and I put on, like, I don't know, put on cartoons or something, like a cartoon movie or something, because I was just so freaked out. And that was the first incident that I ever had, the first dream that I ever had. These dreams kept reoccurring wasn't always the same scenario, but it was the same kind of entity. So another dream that I had about that apartment was I was standing in the kitchen, like the doorway from the living room to the kitchen in my old apartment. And I remember it was dark. And there's a little bit of light coming from the window because how the apartment was laid out, like you walked through the living room and then you walked into the kitchen and there was a window right there. And all the way on the other side of the kitchen was our sink and like our cabinets and stuff, and there was a table obviously in between that. And that entity, that same entity, black, smoky mist, big head, like just standing there not saying nothing, was standing on the other side of the kitchen table. And I'm like literally getting chills just talking about it because it freaks me out so bad. And I knew that it was staring at me. Like I said, I had no facial features or anything like that, but I knew that it was staring at me. And I remember trying to turn on the lights and the lights wouldn't come on. And I remember trying to scream and nothing was coming out. And then I woke up. I just I kept having dreams about this. And then on the other hand, I was also having really creepy dreams where like I was trying to get home. Like I'd be on my way home walking, and I would always wind up at that apartment building, the old one. And no matter what, I knew I didn't live there. I knew I shouldn't be there. But for some reason, like I would always like get lost, and I'd always end up at that apartment. And this has literally been ongoing since we moved out of there. The last dream that I had was probably when I start talking about it again, which happened a couple months ago. I think it's related because the fact that it looked like the same entity, but for some strange reason, and I guess that's why it kind of freaks me out now, because it's like, why did it all of a sudden change? I had a dream about that same entity, but it was not in that old apartment anymore. The dream starts out, I'm like arriving home, and it's a house, and there's like little porch, little steps that go up to the porch, and double glass doors. Never seen this place in my life, but your dreams, like your brain makes up people and places that you never even been to. So that's not totally crazy. But I remember getting home and it's raining outside and it's dark and I'm like going up the stairs. I remember thinking, my boyfriend Sean, I was like, he's going to be home soon from work, but he's not home yet. And I go into the doors and I shut them. And right as you go into the double glass doors, you're in the living room and there's a couch in the back wall and then there's a doorway that leads into, I guess, the kitchen and stuff. So I immediately come in and I lay down on the couch, which is weird because I never come in and just lay in the dark. I always turn on the light. I never go into a room and just lay down in the dark. I don't like the dark. I'm paranoid. I'm like a big baby. I don't like it. So I don't know why I did it in my dreams, but that's what I did. And then for some reason I looked up, like I just kind of looked up towards the doorway, and that head, like that same kind of like, it almost looks like an alien shaped head. And that's a whole nother story. I don't like aliens. I don't like talking about aliens. That crap freaks me out like so bad. Anyways, that same big head, black mask came up and peeked around like the doorway and looked down at me, and then automatically I started to seize and I started feeling that same kind of electrical feelings. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, just let it happen, it'll be over. Like, I woke up and I had this dream like a couple months ago, so it's in this place I live in now. And I remember like I was so freaked out that I had to turn on a movie, and I literally stayed up the rest of the night. I could not go to sleep. It freaked me out so bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you guys ever had a dream about a place that wasn't bad, or maybe it was bad and you continue to have dreams later on? It just really freaks me out that the same kind of scenario happens. And then I had that dream and it was at a completely different place. Like, that's the first time I've ever seen the entity in another place. Like I said, I talked to my mom about it, and I remember her talking to one of her friends about it, and her friend's like a very spiritual kind of person. She believes in God and, angels and stuff like that. And she thought that it might be that there's an entity attached to me and that I just don't see it other than in my dreams. Like, that's the only time that it can communicate with me. And that kind of freaks me out because I know that there are stories of people having entities attached to them, but they normally see them like when they're awake, Mine only happens in my dreams. So I guess I should be thankful if that's what it is, that that's what's happening. I have some kind of entity attached to me. I should be thankful that it's just in my dreams. But it just really freaks me out, like so bad. Like, those dreams like are so freaking creepy and they feel so real. And the creepiest part about the whole thing is like when I had my first dream and the entity was like in the doorway and it kind of jumps on me. This is well before all like the ghost adventures and ghost hunters and all those paranormal shows start coming in, and that's way before I knew that people would say if a ghost touched them it would feel like almost like staticky or like it's electrical, like an electrical kind of feeling. So way before I ever knew that was something that was a real thing. So that's what really creeps me out, that I was feeling that while I was sleeping, and I didn't even know that's what it was kind of like when a ghost does touch you. So that's what really freaked me out. I don't know. Have you guys had any experiences like this? I would love to know if you did, because it would be nice to know that I'm not the only person that experienced something like this. So I'm sorry that this is from another angle, but my daughter started going kind of crazy, so I had to stop filming and attend to her. Mom life. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I do plan on doing a lot more paranormal videos. I have a few more personal ones, and then I'm actually going to start doing some research on some other ones that I can bring to you guys, because I absolutely love the paranormal. I love watching the videos, and it's been a dream of mine to actually do videos on it. Now, this channel's not going to be dedicated to just the paranormal, but I will be doing a lot more paranormal videos. And I also plan on going to different supposed haunted places around where I live with one of my very best friends. So hopefully I'll be able to bring some of those videos to you guys shortly, especially since October is coming. I'd really like it if you guys would go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join me in the Raven Pride. We would love to have you. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button down below, because it means so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, my lovelies. Mwah. Love you.